You love them, you hate them, and many of them you simply just can't live without. That's right, I'm talking about anime girls. And, well, boys too, I guess. Odds are you probably noticed many similar tropes or types of personality shared between anime characters. And no, I'm not talking about the infinite month-to-month changing personality mess that's interpreted by the MBTI system, which is probably not even accurate at all, even though I'm totally an ENFP, by the way. Yeah. What I mean to say are the anime personality types, sometimes referred to as the Deres, which sounds pretty freaking awful actually. I need a better name for it, for real. But anyways, yeah, the Deres. You might be thinking to yourself, hey, this sounds familiar. Well, you've probably heard of a Sundre, maybe even a Yandere, and if you're truly cultured, perhaps even a Kudere or a Dere. But what if I told you there were actually 12 different anime personality types, and odds are you're probably one of them. Let's start with the most commonly known type, the Sundre. Sun coming from sun, meaning to turn away in disgust, and Dere coming from Dere, meaning to be lovey-dovey. Sunderes are the half-hot and half-cold persona, often being initially unfriendly and tough on the main character, and possibly even their companions too. And by half-hot and half-cold, I'm not talking about Todoroki from My Hero. Well, I mean, now that I think about it, I guess he is kind of a Sundere, huh? The thing with Sunderes is after some time, in either some way, their tragic backstories begin to reveal themselves, or they encounter some kind of crazy loss throughout the story, and they get a ton of character progression all in one bit, and they begin to let their guard down, which almost always results in them becoming softer, sweeter, and friendlier over time. This is the absolute most common character type in all of anime existence and present in pretty much every anime. In fact, I dare you to find an anime without a Sundere in it. And well, if you do, please don't hurt me and spam my Twitter saying this random old character in this obscene old show is a Sundere, because I have family, and don't torment me like that. Next up is the Yandere, the base root meaning insane or sick. Yanderes are the violently overprotective people that lock onto and hover around their love interests. Characterized by insane looking wide eyes when agitated, these people look and feel quite normal at first. However, when the person they're hovering around is in any sense of danger or discomfort, they become extremely overprotective and sometimes brutally violent. Death seems to always follow Yanderes, as they show little remorse for any of their actions. As long as they can protect and be with their special someone, then nothing else truly matters. This is the type of person that, especially when love-struck, feels that the ends most certainly justify the means. Did I mention they're crazy? They're pretty crazy. I mean, the idea of having someone loving you so much to the point that they would even kill for you or kidnap you is insane. But I guess it is kind of nice to feel so loved, right? Right? Yanderes are often mistaken as shy, but they're actually just quiet and reserved. Most of the time, they're not talking as much because they don't want to say anything wrong. The base root of Dan meaning silence, this type of personality can have a lot of trouble speaking with those that they're not close with, and they get embarrassed very easily too. Once they get close to that certain someone, however, oh boy, then all hats are off. Their true nature comes out and they become more sweeter and more talkative over time. Have you ever met a person who seems really shy or not talkative, but then once you get to know them better, they begin to open up easier and are actually really cool and interesting? Then over time they start to approach you and make conversation more easily too? Well, that person's probably a Yandere. Once a Yandere meets the right person, then they show their cuter, more reserved side and begin to open up their hearts by expressing themselves more freely and sometimes more passionately. But if you put these kinds of people alone in a room with their interests and they're not super close yet, they'll break out into embarrassment since they're not used to confrontation at all. Many of us have a Yandere in our lives, and they tend to be some of the most sweetest, compassionate, and caring people around, especially since they often care more about what others think than they do themselves. Always being cool, calm, collected, and usually showing little to no emotion, these are the Kuderes. Once you get past their solid, cold, lifeless-like outer shell, they're actually really caring and kind, especially to animals, which is cool but also kind of weird. Opening themselves only to those closest to them, the Kudere personality can come off as selfish and not really caring. Just know that they're not being mean, they're distant because they don't really care as much, and that's okay because they feel they don't owe anyone anything and have no real obligations to others. To win over a Kudere, it's best to act uncaring, but also still be caring. Be around when possible to help, but don't force yourself onto this type of person. Be blunt, direct, but distant enough not to hover. They don't like drama as much as the Sundre, but they also don't like to be smothered with. Remember, they're cool on the outside, soft on the inside, and usually they're always keeping a watchful eye from a distance. Next up are the Guderes. While Sunderes and Kuderes are more reserved about their feelings, a Gudere is more forceful about sharing how they feel. This is all done out of pure, unfiltered, and sometimes very blind love. Guderes are lively, high-spirited, and overexcited people. They see their persons of interest almost like gods and will do whatever they can to please them and make them happy, often going to unimaginable lengths just to do things that they think the other person would like. Let's not kid ourselves, most of us were probably this personality type in middle school, high school, or even college, I guess. Meeting that special someone for the first time and doing everything we possibly could to impress them so we could be with them. This insane level of devotion can often come off as very unappealing and just pushy to the wrong person. However, when paired with another Gudere or someone who's equally as open to sharing and reciprocating their feelings, well then that's pretty much a match made in heaven. Dere sound kind of funny, and the funness of their name speaks a lot about them. It's kind of like when you hear the word Hufflepuff and you think, oh, that sounds nice. I'm a Hufflepuff, by the way, Hufflepuffs rule. Woo. Dere's main purpose in life is to spread happiness and joy wherever they go. This is pretty much like the protagonist character type. They're happy-go-lucky, energetic, sweet, kind, and considerate. Even through hardships, they always try and find a reason to smile. This is one of my most favorite personality types, and I love being around people with this kind of energy. They're the type of personality that can easily express directly how they feel about someone and enter that lovey-dovey state right from the get-go. Most of the time, they're either very direct or open with how they feel, or they're just waiting for the appropriate time to express themselves. Some main characters are Deres, but also a lot of supporting characters are this type too. It's typically for the characters that are either in love with the main character or the main character who has everyone in love with them. This pure-hearted personality type, unlike some of the other more vindictive personality types, doesn't get as jealous when other people talk to their interests, and they only care about their happiness, if even in the end it's not with them, and that's really sweet. Next up, we have the spoiled, egotistical, arrogant, daddy's little princess or mommy's little prince type personality. And this type actually has two spellings, with Himedere for women and Ojidere for men. If you watch a lot of anime and think these names sound familiar, well, often referencing children of nobility, Hime, said in anime as Hime-sama, means princess, and Oji, said in anime as Oji-sama, means prince. Hence, Himedere and Ojidere are love-struck people with princess or prince complexes. This is basically the do all the work for me because you're a filthy peasant and you're beneath me type personality. These kinds of people are very vain and don't care much for others, especially those that they deem beneath their stature. Funnily enough, those that end up winning over this personality type are the types of people that they absolutely despise and would never imagine themselves being with, but they just can't help it. Quick note, there's also a more calmer and proper royalty type personality called the Ojodere. This is a princess-like person that's kind, courteous, and benevolent. They're well-behaved and easily won over by kindness and generosity. They even very much enjoy spending their time with people who usually wouldn't be in their level of social class too. Bacadures are beautiful, handsome, sometimes incredibly strong, and low-key heartthrobs too, who make great initial impressions but just aren't that intelligent. They're often very clumsy and get themselves into foolish or easily avoidable situations. If they made any dexterity rolls, they'd usually end up rolling a 1, and on a good day maybe a 2, since they're always finding ways to fumble and get into trouble. I mean, come on, it's in the name. Baka means stupid, so Bacadure is a lovely moron. They're usually really nice, funny, and entertaining, which also makes them terrific main characters. And for some reason, if they're not very smart, then they have to be super optimistic, which I totally disagree with. You can be optimistic and smart, what the heck. But anyways, for all of their faults, we still love them all the same. So earlier we had a type with a royalty complex. Well, we're gonna one up that now and introduce the Dere. And if you know anime, then you know the word kami, and kami means god. So yes, this is the god complex. Oh god. These types of people quite literally believe everyone is not even worthy of speaking to them. They are so high up on the ladder that individual lives are meaningless to them, and nothing is important unless they deem it so. These characters are usually ridiculously overpowered and on crazy levels, and they make the greatest villains and antagonists. They're either the absolute coolest characters ever, or sometimes even the funniest ones, with how insignificant they can be sometimes, and not as strong compared to the main character, but they don't even realize it. Without a doubt though, every great anime needs a good Dere, and it really makes the series more entertaining, suspenseful, and feel more alive. Introducing the Dere. You remember Gary from Pokemon and how arrogant and mean he always was? And no matter how hard you tried to achieve your dreams and goals, his entire life's purpose was just to defeat you, make your life miserable, put you down, and often just to make him feel better? Yeah, well, he's a Dere. Deres are often very jealous, manipulative, aggressive, and super edgy at times. They're out in life taking care of only number one, which is themselves, and usually clash often with and are sometimes the antagonists of the main character, but to their credit, they are highly skilled and often very intelligent or hyper attractive, making them edgy but in the really damn okay kind of way. This person is basically in the middle between a Sundre being easily annoyed and a Kudere being super quiet. They're stubbornly quiet and secretly dismissive. Kind of a scary person to be around because you don't know if they're always questioning and judging you or things around you and just not being vocal about it. They do sometimes become super nice over time though, which is cool, but I just think people thirst over these characters way too much, come on. Sado, coming from the word sadomasochistic, is basically the emotionally manipulative and sadistic personality type that preys upon people's feelings. They basically see relationships as a kind of game where they enjoy pulling upon heartstrings and enjoy the suffering of others for their own gratification. Deres enjoy pain and more so causing pain upon others, especially those that they are interested in. It's kind of creepy but interesting, I guess, in a way, but I mean, we all have our kinks, so I guess this personality works for someone. Shun, meaning sad or depressed, a Shundere is a type that is dramatically sad, melancholy, and feels terribly unmotivated. Really though, this is a pretty boring personality type, and it's quite rare too, but it's just not fun to obsess over, so yeah. Last but not least is the Hayakazu. Hayakazu meaning tease, this is the seductive, flirtatious, playful personality type. They're not mean at heart, but they enjoy teasing those they fancy and are always on the hunt and playing some sort of game with people. They love attention and especially giving out attention. They're not emotionally manipulative, but more so just aggressively flirtatious, since they're pretty carefree about how they're perceived and just love to flirt. And did I mention that these types of people are extremely attractive? Like, whoa, damn, okay. They also have an extremely high sense of self-worth and a comfortableness that makes it easy for them to joke around with themselves and have fun making others uncomfortable with their forwardness. Every shonen anime has this character of some kind, and they're either super cringe or extremely entertaining. Well, that about wraps it up. Thank you all so much for watching my video until the very end. I really appreciate it, and every like, watch time, and comment really helps out the algorithm. And if you did enjoy my content, please consider hitting that subscription button and the bell. It really helps me grow as a content creator. And if you want to join a Discord community where we talk about anime, cosplay, fitness, and all the fun stuff and post a lot of memes, feel free to join my Discord, and all those details are down in the description below. So thank you again for watching. Hope you all have a good one, and take care till next time. Peace.